The conversion of Hagia Sophia, picking fights with the Gulf countries for Abraham Accord, supporting Azerbaijan in a show of Muslim solidarity, interfering in India's internal matters by picking fight at the UNGA, making bed with China and Pakistan. With such a long list of woeful activities, it was only a matter of time before the inevitable happened. Financial Action Task Force, also known as FATF, has finally placed Turkey on the grey list and its days in nothingness have begun. It's a victory for India, which has been troubled by the menace of the Islamic dreams of Erdogan. Hi and welcome. You're watching TFI English, the national socio-political analysis arm of the TFI Media Group. I'm your host Tribhuvan, and in this video I will tell you how India painted Turkey FATF Grey before Diwali. Before you starting this video, you must have seen me wear these amazing t-shirts with Sanskrit quotes and Indian heroes, and the great news is that you can get them too. Just visit tfistore.com and pick your favorite from a bunch of options. Joining its fast friend Pakistan in solidarity, the Islamic State of Turkey on Thursday was placed on the grey list over money laundering and terrorist financing by the Financial Action Task Force, also known as FATF. Pakistan has been an illustrious member of the grey list since 2018, and having Turkey on the list would make it feel a less lonely. Turkey's inclusion in the list has come as a major success for India, which had been lobbying behind the scene to make it happen. FATF President Marcus Pleyer, in a virtual press conference from Paris at the end of October plenary, announced the decision. It is pertinent to note that the plenary is the highest decision-making body of the watchdog, which meets 3 times in a year to decide the status of countries and their place in the different lists. Erdogan's Turkey has fast become an ideologue of sorts for Islamist terrorist groups and countries like Pakistan across the globe. From Syria to France, and now even India to Armenia, Ankara has been shamelessly using proxy terrorists and Syrian mercenaries or fighters to disrupt global peace. The inclusion in the grey list was long coming, as the financial watchdog had put Turkey on notice for 2 years when it found serious shortcomings in its approach towards combating money laundering and terrorist financing. Turkey had been creating a robust international terror financing network as an instrument of foreign policy. As such, Ankara was blatantly violating the anti-terror financing benchmarks created by the FATF. The FATF had then warned Turkey that it could get added to the international grey list, a move that can lead to some painful consequences for Turkey's troubled economy. Ankara's forex reserve are dwindling, its currency hitting record lows against the US dollars, dipping tourist footfall, sanction threat, and the COVID-19 pandemic further destroying the Turkish economy. Erdogan's lackluster fiscal policies are killing what was once a booming economy. Erdogan opposes any move to hike interest rates, even as Turkey faces very high inflation rates and a constantly depreciating currency lira. It is well settled amongst economists that interest rates must be raised to restrict inflation. But Erdogan believes that higher interest rates further push inflation. The Turkish president keeps cutting interest rates at regular intervals and cracks down on rational economists in his government who advocates increasing interest rates. The inclusion in the FATF grey list will further squeeze its economy and make the lives of ordinary citizens difficult. Global investors are maintaining a safe distance from Turkey already. Total foreign investment in Turkish stocks and bonds stood at just $30.6 billion at the start of August. FDI too went down to $5.7 billion last year, as against the record $19 billion in 2017. Turkey's economic problem is further elevated by its being part of multiple military confrontation in the region. The country has been losing its financial capital to the Islamization of the country, with investors parting ways with Ankara, turning towards nationalism and trying to hide economic disaster in the camouflage of Islamization, and jingoism can only go so far. Ankara is making enemies and losing allies, creating theatres of conflict even where things could have been solved diplomatically. As for Pakistan, in June 2018, a few months before Imran Khan came to power, FATF put the Islamic country on the grey list for being a centre of terror financing. Since then, Imran Khan made several efforts to instrument the exit of the country from the grey list, as it would help to bring international investors and loan from multilateral institutions. But none of it worked so far. The Pakistani army has been funding jihad from Afghanistan to Kashmir Valley. The anti-Soviet jihad of the 1980s, as well as the terror activities in Kashmir, required an uninterrupted flow of capital. This was earned through drug trafficking. Pakistani military and the ISI have used Pakistan as a domestic market for the consumption of heroin. Due to this, hundreds of thousands fell prey to a drug culture that was encouraged by the Pakistani military establishment in the 1980s. With Biden coming to the White House and China leading the Paris-based watchdog, Pakistan had harbored dreams that it will be taken out of the list. However, with Biden having not called Imran Khan ever since his elevation to the White House and China forcing Pakistan to pay the default loans by taking additional loans from it, further plunging it into a debt crisis, Pakistan's misery knows no bound. With its friend Turkey, who had promised to take it out of grey list, joining the same party, it feels rather poetic that two exporters of Islamic terrorism have been sent into detention together.